Hi, hello, and welcome to the Happily Neurodivergent YouTube. My name is Chris, and the reason that we're making this video today because I realized I need to make a compilation video of the series I started on TikTok called Creating Chosen Family. Now, for like a quick intro, I'll make another intro video because I don't have time for that right now. I am a med student in Spain, third year currently. I absolutely love it. I am autistic with ADHD, and I'm an unmasked autistic, which means I have spent my whole life like this. My parents did not deem it necessary to tell me that something was a little bit off about me. The fact that I couldn't look at drains was totally normal, apparently. Anyways, a few years ago when I started making content, I started making this series because I just saw too many videos of people being like, actually I have no friends and I'm very lonely. And that broke my heart because I have a lot of friends and most of them are chosen family, right? Hence the name. I'm not that original, all right? We just went with what we knew. These tips are not only for neurodivergents, obviously, anybody can use them, but they're set up in a way where I made them for my community and people who think like me and people who see the world like me because I was seeing a lot of like friendship tips, but they weren't taking into account that some of us are just built different. Some of us just built different, right? But like I said, these tips are for everybody, and I know they can help people because I've gotten so many beautiful, nice DMs. Oh my gosh, I've gotten so many beautiful, nice comments, and it's been really cool to see that these tips are actually helping people. And I realized that if somebody was looking for it, especially on IG, I don't have any of them on IG, and I was like, but there's so many parts. Because when I first started the series, I was like, what was I gonna do? Make like 10, 12 videos? Not gonna be that deep. We on part 30 plus. Hey, and like there's like side quests that I've done in the process, so there's that. It's just been really fun and really rewarding, and I really enjoy it. And I've gone into like deeper themes on my Patreon, and I'm going to start doing more of that because I absolutely love talking about this. Everything is going to be linked in the thingy below. Also, while we're here, unless I am paid to say it, I will not be saying please like and subscribe. And the reason is, if you don't like it, you're not going to like it, and if you don't want to prescribe, you're not going to subscribe. Prescribe, lol. So, yeah, do whatever you want. If you hear me say those words, just understand that I've been paid. And I acknowledge that right now. Okay? And we will not talk about this again. Anyways, it's just because I got PDA autism, so if you tell me, like, I need you to like and subscribe, see, now I'm not inclined to do so, right? And I'm talking to my people. This is for the neurodivergence for the most part. Most of these videos will be for my people. Again, anybody can take any type of aid from it that they need to, but I'm talking to my community because I didn't see a lot of friendship things geared toward my community, and so I made it. I made the change that I wish to see in the world. And this is my first YouTube video, as you can see. Like I said, I'll make an intro video another day when I have the patience and energy. But so any lighting issues, any sound issues, any issues, you know what? My bad. Okay, my bad. Anyway, so this is a compilation of part 1 through 10 of the Creating Chosen Family series that is on TikTok if you want to watch the individual videos. But this way, people who were like, I binged all the videos, it was like, I'm so excited, thank you so much. This way, you actually have a way to do so without like losing yourself in TikTok. And I think I'm going to do it like this going forward. So every 10 parts, I'm just going to upload. We're at to part 30 on TikTok, like I said, but I can only upload 10 at a time for mental health reasons because my dad passed away in January of 2023, and going back into old videos is really hard for me. But B, I'm in med school, like I said, still got the whole exams thing and learning to save people thing. And I'll make more videos about that. Maybe we'll see. YouTube is not my preferred platform just because I'm really big at like I like to turn on my camera, record, and leave. And that's really great for social media, but this is more long form, and also I hate editing. If you have me on Patreon, you know, I say it all the time. I hate editing. I love just press and play and then send it. As I start YouTube, most of these will be compilation videos, but when I get the ganas and the feelings, maybe I start doing more actual YouTube videos, which is hilarious because I remember a year ago, I was like, I'm never doing YouTube, but this is kind of nice to like sit and like let my thoughts spew out. The editing process won't be fun later, but we already started. Anyways, hope y'all having a good one. To me, it's 1 something in the morning, so I'm gonna go shower and go to sleep. But yeah, enjoy the part 1 through 10 plus little blah blah blahs of Creating Chosen Family. I have really enjoyed making it. This was inspired by a video I saw by Laffy Danny. Go check out their page. Very good stuff over there. But they said something that I wanted to like directly address because I've heard it a lot and people have commented a lot on my page about it. And so I'm going to attempt to try and add to the conversation to give some actionable tips. So this is going to be part 1 of what I'm going to call how you make chosen family.
in my humble opinion, you have to do what is most people are not willing to do. And that is show up as yourself to the best of your ability. Now, I go by 100%. And the reason for that is if I show up at 100%, when you meet me, when you choose to be friends with me, when you choose to interact with me, you can never say that I didn't tell you, because you met me at 100%. You knew this was me. So I choose 100%. It is easier for me. I have found that this method is the most convenient way to make sure that the people in your life are there for you. I, however, as an unmasked autistic, am very aware of what 100% entails. And I understand most people are not actually capable of giving or receiving 100%. So I'm going to amend this and say, if you show up to the best of your ability as authentically as you can, not only will you better be able to recognize people that you yourself want to be friends with, that you want to fuck with, but those people may be on the lookout for people like you. This is honestly the hardest part of the whole process, though. Everything after this is honestly marginally too much easier. But the first step is being able to recognize the people you want to fuck with, the people that like, you're like, wow, I got the vibes. So some very true stories of people that I've been friends with that have come up. I have created false narratives just to talk to them. We're still friends to this day. One of them, I straight gaslit her. I pretended like I didn't speak Spanish. I do. Another one, I went up to her and I was like, I heard you lived in this country. Did you like it? I've never been. Another one, I was like, my roommate, literally one of the closest people to me, I was like, I like your bag. Right? I just create something to talk to them. To be fair, all of these things were true. It's a small window. I used it. I went in. But my point being, I also made it very clear who I was. I showed up authentically as myself. I'm not going to lie to you. This takes a lot more energy than it sounds like. I will try to do a part 2 on how to do this. Show up as yourself, I should say. ADHD hyperfixation kicked in, and now I have to do part 2, so here we are. How to make chosen family by showing up in the world as authentically and genuinely as you can. This is just my humble opinion, but this is what I've been doing for the last 15 plus years, and it works really fucking well. Make sure you are doing the things that you want to do already and showing up there so that those people at those places, at the things that you already want to do, can find you too. So I understand some people are already back at work in real life, but these are just like some examples that off the top of my head. Let's say you really love farmers markets, but you've never gone because you don't want to go by yourself and you don't want to be that weird person with the headphones walking around staring at things but not buying anything. Go. Same thing with the bookstore. You didn't really want to be a loner by yourself in the bookstore reading because, I don't know, but maybe you start meeting other loners right at the bookstore reading and you all start talking and those are your people. Same thing with, I don't really want to go to the movies by myself. Isn't that lame? What if you start noticing that you are going to the movies at these random times with, you don't also know these other people that are going to the movies at a random time alone, right? Like, I understand that there are life things, that there are things that stop us, that responsibilities, you got to go to class, you got to go to work, you have things to do. But within the time and space that you have, maybe you're super, super interested in something, but you're not really doing it because that's a weird interest. Go into a Reddit forum. Start talking. Go into a Tumblr situation. Start talking. Start DMing people on Instagram that have pages that you're like, oh my God, I'm so fucking obsessed with this. One of my favorite collectors on HP, LOL. One of my favorite Harry Potter collectors is one of my special interests. I'm low-key, like, I see her as just like this person that I'm like honestly low-key in my head friends with because she answers DMs and she's so fucking cool. You should go, I'll tag her below. She's amazing. But the point is, like, make sure you're doing what you wanted to do anyways. And I understand that that's actually not easy, especially if you have been masking as an autistic, you are late diagnosed autistic, even if you were diagnosed early, but you've just been stifling your own interests for a really long time, so you don't show up in the places you want to go to. You don't do the things you want to do. You don't actively seek or talk to people that you might be interested in talking to, whether it be in real life or even just DMing them. Like, I understand this is actually not an easy ask. But if you're going to show up as yourself, you might as well do so in places that you're comfortable and happy in. So that would be my actionable step of starting to find chosen family. Make sure that you're putting yourself in places where you want to be anyways. Because, right? That just attraction of what you already wanted. How to create chosen family, part 3. Make sure with the people that you are choosing after you feel comfortable, when they do something that bothers you, it doesn't matter how insignificant you tell yourself it is, or other people even try to tell you it is. If it created a response in your soul, in your mind, in your body that made you unhappy, uncomfortable, triggered you in any way, it doesn't matter how small, you need to tell them. This will weed out the people that were going to leave anyways. At least now they leave early. Yes, it will hurt, but the pain will be so much more diminished because you didn't really have that much time with them. So don't wait until they've done something 6, 7, 8 times. The moment it happens, the first time it happens, you need to sit down and be like, hey, what you did there made me uncomfortable. Make sure that when you choose friends for your chosen family, they are the type of people that if you talk about something, quite literally, 5,000,007 times. Look at my nails, they're very cute. These are all off-brand random colors. That's not the point, just to stay focused. When you go on about something for the literally you've talked about it 17 times this week, alone, sometimes the 10th time that day even, they're like, yeah, I get you, I'm listening, I'm here. That's a very important, like in Brooklyn Nine-Nine when Gina does that thing in the interviews and everybody's like, why would you do it like that? And she had a reason and they were like, oh my God, I didn't think about that. And one of them is like, you know how annoying that these Hitchcock and Sully can get? And they're like, oh right, true. Make sure you have people that accept you even if you talk about the same thing for 30 days straight. This is going to be a hot take, a controversial opinion, but it works for me, and I can only speak on what works for me, okay? When you are choosing family, so this is not no friends that you fuck with, you go hang out with, no. These are people that you have decided this is who you want to do life with. When somebody got to go pick up your kids from school, this is the motherfucker you calling. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? If you want kids, it's your business, I don't care. That's the point though. If you have to modify your communication style for them to understand you, no matter how you're doing, whether it's burnt out, whether it's angry, whether it's tired, whether it's happy, if you have to modify the way that you speak for them to comprehend what you are trying to say, which is to say that they don't understand you on a certain wavelength level, and, because this is a 2-part thing, and they don't have the consideration level to hear and understand what you're trying to say, you need to find another person. I know that sounds harsh, but hear me out. Unless that person has already made it clear that they are willing to learn how to accommodate to your, especially as a neurodivergent, especially. And no matter how good their intentions are, they have made comments like, I just don't know how to talk to you when you're angry. I just don't really understand you if you don't say things in a very specific format. It's time to start looking elsewhere. And I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry to be the one to tell you that. But the people who want to be in your life, yeah, they would have made the effort before things got to the point where you needed to explain yourself and they didn't understand you anyways. A great example is all of my friends. So right now, 2 of my friends are burnt out, right? And they literally straight up told me to my face, if we see you, we're going to do 5 minutes of conversation and then you're going to go sit in another room and I'm going to go sit in another room and we're not going to see each other because I am burnt out. In a lot of friendships, I'm aware honestly, I would say most friendships even, that's not a thing. That you can't just be like, hey, I love you. I don't want to see you. I don't want to see your face. So that is how you go from a normal, yeah, we're friends, we're kikiing, to like, nah, you chosen family. Because I love you so much that I will see your face for 5 minutes, but after that, I'm done. Like, I need you to leave. I need you to get out of my face. Like, you need to be comfortable enough to say that. And you need to be comfortable enough to say that in your own words, in your way of speaking, in your comfort level of communication. Because they didn't accommodate to me, they just said it. If you're worried about how your words are coming off, you need to find new people. I'm sorry. If you can hear my heater, no, you can't. Part 6. If for whatever reason you have chosen these people as your family, things are going well, blah, 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 and then one day you tell them something about yourself, an insecurity, self-depreciating remark, something that you're trying to work on, and they dismiss it and or tell you, well, what is your problem? Time to go. Count them out. Count them out. If somebody hears you trying to work through something and they hear you going through the self-depreciating thoughts, the fears, the insecurities, and their reaction is, well, I just don't understand what's your problem? Why do you have a problem? Time to go. It doesn't matter if they do everything else right. Time to go. That type of energy, you do not want to see where it ends. That's just the beginning. All right? That jealous, that I don't even know what's wrong with you. Everything's fine. Why are you complaining energy? Garbage. Basura. Let it go. Part 7, creating chosen family. In the process of picking the people that you make your family, you need to remember that you have to do the in-the-moment vulnerability test. Yes, it is painful. Yes, it will hurt. But you need to know that in a moment, if you got bad news right now, if you called them and you said, I need you to show up for me right now, unless they are quite literally completely unavailable due to some circumstance of their own, if they can't show up for you, not the right person. This is a two-pronged thing, however, because they need to do their best to support you. And neither of those things are always done correctly. Someone's best, sometimes they don't know it's not enough. And somebody's support sometimes is wrong. It's not for you. So in this process, you need to be open to them making mistakes and you course correcting them so that they can better help you. If you are trying to make friends, specifically if you are neurodivergent, unmasking, trying to make friends, I created a whole playlist. There are, I think, 14 or 15 parts in this playlist on how I do friendships, tips on how to make friends, what to do to make said friends, and ways to comport yourself to keep your boundaries with said friends. Okay? Creating chosen family. Now, I started this when I was a much smaller creator, so unfortunately not all the videos are under this hashtag. However, all the videos are in this playlist. Now, I have made another video on how to make friends as an introvert, as an extrovert, when you're an introvert feeling extroverted. I'll tag them here. But another tip about making friends as somebody who is introverted and has had past trauma with friendships. So you're already very nervous about getting into a friendship situation. Do what you love and spend time in those circles. Now, I understand not every fandom, not every blah, blah, blah is healthy and safe. I get that. But there are ways to find Discord groups. There are ways to find Geneva groups. I'm in a Geneva group and it's the greatest thing ever. There are ways to interact with smaller groups of people that are interested in the same thing you are online without it having to be a huge Reddit thread or a huge Tumblr thing or da-da-da-da. There's probably a niche Instagram page that's doing something that you're super interested in right now. There's probably a niche Facebook group in your city doing stuff you're interested in right now. It's not the easiest thing in the world to find, but if you take the tips that I use in the video that I put in this video, again, it's going to be linked below because I don't feel like repeating myself. Just take that into online spaces that are small and you feel safe in. They do still exist. I promise you, you can find it. It's just a matter of, especially, and this is for introverts specifically, because as an extrovert, for me, it's more like I'll just go to an event and I'll, figure it out from there. When I came to school here, I was like, okay, I got to make friends. It's different for me as an extrovert. As an introvert, you're going to need to do your searching in online spaces, and that'll, you're going to have to figure out where you feel safe and what works for you. And remember online safety and know when, that's something I can't teach you. You have to know for yourself of when you are in a situation with someone. Also, if you're an introvert and you're having an extroverted moment, don't be afraid to just go outside and do something by yourself. Because a lot of the times, that's how I find my introverts. They're minding their business in a corner by themselves and I just go bother them, right? You'd be surprised as an introvert reading a book in some corner, doing your own thing in some corner, joining some knitting thing, and like everybody's interacting and you're in a corner, and an extrovert just gonna come and adopt you. Just make sure to wear your anime merch, you know what I mean? Make sure to wear your favorite show hat. Make sure to wear your F1, I don't know, t-shirt. Like, I'm just saying, as long as you are like wearing and like showing what you're interested in as an introvert, if you go to places by yourself when you have the spoons, you would be surprised at what extrovert comes and adopts you. Because that's me. And a lot of the times, there's a lot of extroverts like me, especially neurodivergent extroverts like me, where we don't like everybody, but we like our people. Today we were walking in the library. Was that today? Yes, it was today. And my roommate, who is an introvert, will walk toward the strangers. I'm like, why are you getting so close to people? We're getting really close to the people. She's like, they're strangers. I don't have to talk to them. And I was like, exactly. They're strangers. Stranger danger. I don't like randos. I like my people. Like, I'm so serious though. Like, as an introvert, if you just go places doing your own thing and you look like you are interested in something that an extrovert has come to go do, you'd be shocked at how many of us will adopt you. And then there you go. You don't even have to make friends anymore. Like, you've just made, like, the friend group is just existing. You're just there now. Now it's a matter of, holding boundaries and healthy relationships and all of that again. Creating chosen family. It's all in there. I'm just saying. There is a modicum of putting yourself out there that is necessary in order to make chosen family. You do still have to make effort, whether it be online or IRL. So we're going to go ahead and call this Creating Chosen Family Part 8 because this is perfect. So I kind of went into this in Part 1, but we're going to do it more in depth. First of all, if you're trying to find friends, you're trying to find your community, make sure you're looking where you were going to be already. Tumblr forums, Reddit forums, Discord, going to the movies by yourself and looking for people wearing merch that you're also wearing and being like, oh, what's up? Making sure that you're showing up as authentically as you possibly can, which I understand being vulnerable, it takes a lot out of most, but the more that you do, the more you're going to attract other people. So make sure, not just online, but in real life too, if that is something you're capable of doing. Second of all, and this is a really important one, don't hold back. I know everybody else is going to tell you something a little bit different because, you want to come off. No, you don't. No, you don't. You want to come off as yourself. So if the person wasn't right, if the match wasn't going to work, if the people weren't going to stay, they leave early. And I understand how painful that is because I have been through it. I'm going to make a whole other video about that. But at the end of the day, you need to show up as authentically and as vulnerable as you possibly can because that will eliminate any stragglers that weren't going to stay anyways. Finally, my last point here. When you are in the process of creating chosen family, in the process of making friends, in the process of creating community, do not fear rejection. I understand, especially for those of us with RSD, that is really easy said and it feels something different. I know. I know. I have legitimately been there. The thing is, you're not going to fit with everybody. You're just not. And so you have to be ready for the inevitable, it didn't work with this person, and that fucking sucks. But now you gotta move on to someone else. You cannot stop and completely give up. You can stop, mourn, grieve, regroup, and then go back out. But you cannot let one person, one bad experience stop you from the next people that could be there for you. Oh, this is my real last point. Sorry, I forgot this one. This one's very important. I actually was talking about this with my two friends the other day. Make sure you're finding people that have the things that you don't like in common. Don't go looking for only things you already like because there's a lot of new things you might not be open to yet, you don't know about yet. So focus on the people that already have concrete the same dislikes as you, and honestly, you'd be surprised at what they like that opens your eyes to new things. I really feel like I look my best right now, so I've decided I'm finally going to do the video about what I do in my friendships to maintain and have the friendships that I create. Disclaimer before anything, this is how I do friendship. I choose a baseline of 100%, so all of these things will reflect that. If this does not apply to you, just ignore it. I am an extroverted, unmasked autistic with ADHD. So for me, communication is very easy. That is not to say that I am always the best communicator, but I find that communicating with people that I love is very easy. So I have something that I like to call continuous contact. I used to call it constant contact, but I realize it's not constant because it varies per person. But everybody in my life I have continuous contact with. So some people, of course, that's texting and voice messages every single day. I love WhatsApp. For some people, it's a voice message every other day, 10 minutes long. For some people, it's once a week FaceTime calls. For some people, it's once a month FaceTime calls. For some people, it's 20-minute long voice messages every 3 weeks, right? But it's continuous and consistent contact. It never really lags. And that's because I will always answer, which brings me to my next point. My friends, the people that make up, I like to call them the bubble that protects me from the outside world, LOL. They know that I will always answer. Phone call, text message, voice message, it doesn't matter. I will always answer. And I do that because I want to. Also, I have a setting on my phone, like a do not disturb setting, that like only certain people can call me. So those are the people I always want to talk to anyways. It doesn't matter when they call me. I will always want to talk to them. I also like this precedence because it sets up the reciprocal as having to be true. If I'm always going to be here for you, when I call you at inopportune times and inopportune moments bothering you and you're busy, I know that you will also feel that way about me because we've set up that baseline of we call each other through anything. And I like that. It makes me very happy. I will text my friends the most mundane, stupid things that happen to me. Literally complete garbage nonsense. Why? Because by having this rapport of small garbage nonsense that goes on all the time, it makes it a lot easier when you have like a really big thing to get off your chest that sometimes you're even scared to say, to just say it. Because you've been talking already. Like it just gives a baseline ease that you can just say whatever, and I love that. I've decided this is part 1 of 3. The next part is going to be consideration, and the last part is going to be bonding over shit you don't like. The most important point that gets its own video in how I create and maintain my friendships. Disclaimer again, this is how I do friendship. I do baseline 100%. That's just me. You do you. Is consideration. So I go out of my way to constantly lead with consideration. Not compassion, not understanding, consideration. Now, why do I think this is so important and so much different to any other adjective you can think of? Consideration requires you to look at the other person's situation and consider where they are. The closest metaphor idiom I can think of is like walk a mile in someone else's shoes. But this isn't just experiencing the world as them. This is thinking about it from their mentality of where they are. Not just, oh, if I was going through this. No. If they were going through this and how they think, how would I consider myself? Yeah? Again, I do not always execute this at 100%. But by leading with consideration, I am capable of keeping friendships for very long periods of time at a very intimate level because everybody always knows I'm coming at them to the best of my ability of understanding them. A really good example of this is the fact that I love continuous communication. I said it in my last video. And so people that I do not have continuous communication with, sometimes I get RST and insecure about our relationship because I feel I don't speak to them enough or they're not answering enough, like maybe they're mad at me, maybe I did something, blah, blah, blah. But after years of having very serious, very deep conversations with these people in my life, I literally saw one 2 months ago. We talk literally every 4 months. And the moment I told her I was in Barcelona, she was like, I'm coming to see you right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I had to learn to consider that not everybody needs continuous communication and they will still love you just the same. So when I get those RST moments of those friends that I know don't need to speak to me every day and they still care for me, I remind myself to be considerate of the fact that this is a two-way friendship, so we can't just do it my way. I have to consider where they're coming from. Yeah? Another big one is I am super physical touch. Super, super, super. But I have friends who can't stand it. Like, they literally, like, will run away from me. It's happened before. It's quite funny. Anyways, the point being, I have learned to consider that for some people, it's just uncomfortable. They don't like it. It doesn't make them happy. It doesn't bring them joy the way it does me. And I know that seems like a small thing, but for me, that's like a really big way of how I show affection. So it required me to consider that they don't receive it the way I am giving it. Consideration is the golden rule. Last part to what I do in my friendships to keep them, again, disclaimer, my friendships, I do. You don't like it, not my problem. You don't have to do it. There is something to be said for finding people that dislike the same shit you do. I know, don't complain, it's not good, nah. We're still human. We still have shit we complain about, and it's usually not just one thing. Sometimes it is best to bond over that thing that you just don't really like. You just don't like it. It just annoys you. And when you find people who that thing just annoys them too, what's really interesting is it's actually a really fun way to start a friendship. Is like, I know I shouldn't complain, but like that the one thing, you know what I'm talking about? And the person goes, oh my God, me too. What's interesting about that is usually that person will have different likes than you. They will have different hobbies than you. They will have different things that they enjoy that maybe you've never tried or you've never heard of. So like a really stupid, easy example for me would be, I don't like matte cars. Like, I don't know, they're weird. Like, matte cars are weird. But that's something, to me, I can complain about. Same thing with, there are certain artists, I'm not going to say their name, but there are certain artists that I personally do not feel have any musical prowess, and I don't understand how they're famous. And in real life, if you know me, I've complained about these artists several times. But that's because I have gone on a deep dive of this artist's music, or these artists. I have gone into a deep dive of their discographies. I have gone into a deep dive of how they became the artist that they've become. And this is why I don't like them, right? Now, this isn't like some vitriolic hate. This is just, I don't like them, right? And that is actually a really fun basis, because sometimes we feel so guilty about complaining, and it's really fun to find friends that like just don't like the same things as you. The added bonus is usually when you bond with somebody over something as like a simple like complaining, like, oh, we both don't like this, you'll notice that they usually actually don't have the same likes as you. They have completely different likes than you. And that's like a really cool way to find new creative things that you wouldn't have thought of. So I have found that this works for me. I actually had this conversation with two of my friends like, I don't know, weeks ago now, days ago. Time is relative at this point, it's summer. But the point being, it's something that I've done for years, like finding something to complain about, minor, benign. Again, not like vitriolic hate, just like shit I don't like. And usually those people have such different likes than me, and they have shown me new things, and I have shown them new things, and it's just like really fun. So yeah. This is obviously not everything I do in my friendships, but I feel like this is a good comprehensive list.
I did this reading recently where I was asked what I need in friendships. And I was like,
if you are looking for intentional, you are trying to create actual friendships that feel like family, do not go around being like, yeah, I'm a super low maintenance friend. I don't need a lot. Why? Because you're going to attract that. And then you're going to be mad. There is obviously nothing wrong with having low maintenance friends that you don't check on every once a year. You talk, you text, whatever. But if you are trying to create literally chosen family out of your friends, you need to be intentional and act accordingly. So you need to start saying, I want those friends that check on me every day. I want those friends that go on friend dates with me every week. I want those friends that are going to call me every time they think of me. I want those friends that are going to remember my birthday and be there and show up for me. You can't say, I don't care what my friends are like, I just want them to be nice, if you want friends that are going to show up for you. I have a whole series in this playlist. I'll attach some videos below on how to create intentional community. Go forth. You got this.
I feel like when you're the strong friend, it's such a flicking disadvantage.
This is why I am such a huge advocate for being your authentic, vulnerable, open self from the beginning of a friendship. Because if you set that boundary of, I'm always going to be there for you, and don't worry, I'm here, I don't ever break down, I am that person, people tend to internalize things subconsciously. So they're not actually trying to punish you for being strong. It's just in their minds, they don't think that you break down too. It doesn't occur to them. An example I can use in my own life is somebody that I was only on like high bi level with at school. Like we hadn't really had any deep talks. I don't even think I had her number. I've since gotten closer to her, but at that time she only knew me as somebody that she would see sometimes, right? And one day she asked me how I was doing, and my thing is I never lie. So I went, oh, today's fucking horrible. Yeah, my insecurities are kicking my ass. And she looked at me and she was like, you have insecurities? And I was like, yes. But I completely understand from her point of view as somebody who didn't know me very deeply, because I never broke down to her. I never opened up to her. I was never vulnerable with her. In her mind, I just didn't have bad days. Like, she really was shocked. And I'm sure it seems almost like, what the hell? Like, how do you not? It's subconscious. You don't realize how much messaging you are subconsciously intaking. And the reason why I know that is because I'm autistic with ADHD. I watch people subconsciously intake things all day long and then swear to God, that's not what I think. No, you don't realize you think it. You just have internalized it, but you don't analyze that part of your brain, because most people who do this level of analyzation are either in therapy, have gotten therapy, or are neurodivergent. It's not a natural way of being, I've noticed, but that's a conversation for another day. This is also why I made the Creating Chosen Family playlist. All the videos are in here. I'll tag some below. And it's just ways to help you make friends, depending on if you're an introvert or extrovert, ways that I conduct my own friendships and how I feel my friendships are so strong, because I am a strong friend. I am a strong person. I am always there for my friends. But I also am vulnerable. I also break down. I also ask for help. My friends also know that there is a limit to which I can give. Like, I never give an unrealistic expectation of what I can or cannot do, and vice versa, you know? So yeah, the videos are all here and in this playlist. But yeah, I don't know, my 2 cents. Honesty is the best policy. I'm gonna give it to you straight. There are 2 options for when you approach people straight on like that and they brush you off. The first one is they are showing you their true colors early. You didn't want to be friends with them to begin with. They were going to be bad friends. The second is they have their own friendship traumas. They have their own issues and worries and insecurities, and they're not ready to let in new people because what if you hurt them? So they can't afford to let you in. Both of those options don't really actually have to do with you, because the first one is just the person is a bad friend anyways. It's not like they were going to treat you right. And the second is their own trauma. You get me? I know it's really easy for me to dismiss, especially as an outside person. I do not know the whole story. I could be completely wrong. You're right. Like, if you feel that I do not have a grasp of your situation. But in my humble experience, keep going. Because one day, it'll be the right people. Some notable things I have said and done to new people in my life that are still in my life years later and are extremely close to me. One of them, I gaslit her into telling her I didn't speak Spanish when I did. Another one, I was like, oh, you lived in this country. How did you like it? That was my opening line. She literally is like my sister now. We are literally sisters from different cultures. It's the funniest thing in the world. Anyways, one of them, I was like, hi, my name's Chris and I'm batshit crazy. All right. Another one, when I was going through my like autistic realizations, I was like, yeah, I remember how I used to have those like mini meltdowns. And she's like, oh, when you would turn psychotic. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, you would lose your fucking mind for like 10 seconds, for like 10 minutes, excuse me. And then the whole day would be fucked up after you lost your mind. And I was like, and you stayed friends with me? And she was like, well, you know, when it's the people that we're going to stay anyways, I pinky swear it'll be okay from the beginning, and you'll notice it and you'll click and it'll be okay. But the hard part is, and I know this is hard because I've done it, where I've sat alone, I didn't make friends, I didn't approach anybody new out of fear of, I don't want to be disappointed. I'd rather stay by myself. Mejor sola que mal acompañada, you know? Like, trust and believe, I get it. But just, even if it's not big things, even if it's not 100%, give as much as you can to as many different people and see what sticks. Honestly, throw darts at the dartboard. Eventually you'll hit a target. Genuine. Another tip, start where you feel comfortable. Start with your special interests. Start with your hyperfixation of the day. Start with the things that make you happy. Start with the forums in the music and the shows and the thing that you love to do in that one, you know what I mean? Like, start where you're comfortable and branch out. Your people are out there, I promise. piggyback on this video that I did yesterday because the spirit compelled me. If you are in a group chat, if you are in a group of people and you feel like you're the only one going through, you're the only one experiencing, you're alone in this experience, none of your friends understand, those not your friends. If you're the only one in the group that likes going rock climbing, everybody else is a snowboarder, bad example, but you understand what I'm trying to say. If you're the only one in the group, when you say, oh, I really want to watch this show, and everybody's like, oh, I'm not really into it, but then another person goes, oh, I really want to watch this show, and everybody goes, yeah, I want to watch this show that the other person wanted to watch, those are not your friends. You're in a group chat with a bunch of people that know you. Stop calling them your friends. Like, we need to stop the glorification of the idea that people, oh, we don't really get along about this, that. So, like, but like, I'm the only one in the group chat. Stop glorifying that shit. Those are not your friends.